Day 20. Defense rests with the church. The king is not saved by a mighty army. A warrior is not delivered by great strength. A horse is a false hope for victory, nor does it deliver anyone by its great strength. Behold, the eye of the Lord is on those who fear him, on those who hope for his loving kindness, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Psalm 33 verses 16 to 19. In a day when human leaders and earthly armies are hurling threats of invasion and war, it is easy to desire a political or military solution that puts the issue of security in the hands of our government leaders. But as we recognize that these threats are ultimately spiritual in nature, as they aim to restrain the gospel's advance and thwart God's special plans for Taiwan, we understand why the issue of defense and security is not merely a matter for presidents and cabinet members, but even more so, an issue for the church to pick up and give leadership to. Upon this rock, I will build my church, Jar, Ecclesia, and the gates of Hades will not overpower it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall have been bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall have been loosed in heaven. Matthew 16 verses 18 to 19. In this passage, Jesus speaks to the role of his people as a governing body. He uses a word, ecclesia, to describe the role of his church that was easily understood by those listening. In his days, the ecclesia was a ruling assembly with the power to determine the affairs of their city and territory. It is a term that signifies governmental authority. Jesus is saying that his people have such authority to govern, permitting and restraining what takes place spiritually and, as a result, naturally, over their cities and nations. To bring this into focus for the crisis facing Taiwan, it will not be the strength of an army, not even the armies of the Allies, that will bring defense and deliverance to Taiwan. Rather, it will be an awakened church that faces the crisis, embraces the fear of the Lord and putting complete trust in the commander of heaven's armies, and hopes in God through concerted, united prayer that will defend this beautiful island. Ways to pray. Pray for church leaders who would humbly and boldly bring the conversation of national defense out of politics and into the church. Pray for the Church of Taiwan to embrace her role as the ecclesia, those given authority to spiritually defend Taiwan and God's purposes for this nation, and for wisdom on how to bind and loose. Pray for the Lord to frustrate the plans of the enemy, both spiritual forces and earthly rulers, that would seek to interfere with God's purposes for Taiwan. Pray this prayer with us. Lord of hosts, we look to you today as our hope and our defense. We ask that you would set your shield over Taiwan and thwart every plan and purpose of the enemy against this nation. Lord, would you awaken your people in great faith, bold hope, and confident prayer for this hour of uncertainty and crisis facing us. We set our hope upon you alone for our defense, and we take our stand on the wall of intercession to hold back every opposing force, spiritual and earthly, that would rise against your heart and purposes for Taiwan. Defend this island for your name's sake.